Welcome once again to the Friday beer break.
I'm Chris Schryer from beerblog.com.
Yeah.
Ian McCustra with Amsterdam Brewing.
All right. Now, what is in the cup that I'm holding, Ian?
This is one of our newer beers called Kuyt. It's a table beer, which means it's super low alcohol, but it was brewed with 25% rye malt, 25% oats. It's actually like a really old school Dutch style.
How super low is the alcohol?
3.5%.
Now, is this what they call a small beer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good, man.
It's like you did your homework or something.
No, I was reading some story online about how it used to be that people would drink more beer than water because it was safer to drink beer than water in the Middle Ages, but how could you do it? And the idea was they all drank small beers that were like between 1% and 2%, and that's how they survived. All right, so small beer. We really went off the rails there. Keep going.
Yeah, so it's basically like, it's a great patio beer because there's not a lot of hops in it, so it doesn't go sunstruck so quickly, and just super, super drinkable. The rye and the oats give it more texture.
Yeah, very smooth on the palate.
It's got almost like the same kind of like impact as that Goss beer we did a few weeks ago. Like it's very like you can really just drink a lot of it. It's a great beer to just sit back and have a lot of. Now, is the low alcohol percentage specifically orientated to be out on the patio out in the sun?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
At least in terms of why you guys did it. Stylistically, it was.
You always want
different.
to brew something that you want to drink, and this is exactly what a lot of people want to drink right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of appeal. I mean, people see the haziness, and it's almost like somebody sees a light-colored hazy beer, and they go, "Boom, summer! Hook me up."
So this is unfiltered because of the haziness, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of our beers here are unfiltered. You get a bit more flavor if the beer's unfiltered, and better head retention generally, and lacing. So yeah.
Lacing, incidentally, is this. It's what's happening on the side of the cup. As the beer drops, you can actually see some good lacing here. It looks like a letter M. I don't know who M is. But it has to do with the viscosity of the beer and the head. And if a glass laces well, it's a good thing for the beer. Sometimes, if it doesn't lace well, it's the glass's fault. It's dirty. But in general, you're looking for good lacing on a glass of beer.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a geek moment, kids.
So now you mentioned this is a really old Dutch style. Like, did you get a little bit more elaborate on the specific type of style it is?
Sure, it's kind of like a cheat on an old Dutch style. The old Dutch styles were much thicker and more cloying, almost.
Cloying?
Cloying.
You know, like
sugary, syrupy,
sweet, not super drinkable. So we basically took like an old Dutch style and made it super drinkable.
Modernized.
Or tried to.
They were looking at that point historically to have a beer that actually provided some nutritional value. That was part of the reason why it was so heavy, right? It might be low alcohol, but it would actually be providing you with some vitamins, minerals. I think there would even be some protein from the grain at that point in there. So the beer actually was somewhat sustaining. Whereas, if you gave that sort of historical beer to somebody today, they'd be like, that's
interesting.
That's
really oaty.
That's some nice
really oaty.
That's some nice homebrew you made me there, champ.
So what is it that goes into this specifically in terms of like a brewing process?
Brewing process is pretty standard. Single infusion mash. It's all about just kind of letting the ingredients show themselves. Really shine through. So like rye gives you like a slightly spicy note there. The oats kind of gives it like a more back texture in the mouthfeel. And the steering goldings hopefully give it a bit more crisp, noble hop flavor.
Steering Goldens is one of my favorite hops.
That's my favorite hop.
Now, you were mentioning this is great for the patio. The patio down here at the Amsterdam BrewHouse, 245 Queens, Key West, utterly fantastic. Like, I'm kind of upset that we're not out on the patio drinking this right now, but there's a reason we're back here. What is this? Look at this thing here. Get a good shot of this.
It's like
what copper. It's amazing. It looks like some sort of magical device to make potions.
Awesome.
Do you make potions in it?
Absolutely. It's called a cool ship, and there's a couple different uses for it. The reason why we have a cool ship and we have an open fermenter actually down there, they go hand in hand. I'm really interested in old school styles, and one of my favorite is steam beer. So we kind of wanted to recreate an authentic steam beer, otherwise known as California Common.
Yeah, and we did, if you remember with the last when we came from the front of the festival, we did Anchor's Liberty Ale, which is their IPA. Anchor's main beer is their steam beer, and they are...
What's the steam beer?
I will defer to the expert here.
Essentially, like the name came about, that they would have these copper cool ships, but much, much larger up on the roof, and you could see the steam wafting off as the wort cooled down. Basically, the reason why we have one in here is because we use it because you do get certain flavor changes as wort takes several hours to cool down, which which is really important with the type of yeast that we normally use in that type of beer, which would be a lager yeast.
Well, I was going to say, to clarify, normally with a beer, you would run it through a counterflow chiller.
Heat exchanger.
Or heat exchanger, yeah. So immediately the beer is at pitching temperature.
Yeah.
You drop it very quickly.
Yeah.
Ian also is a very humble, modest fellow, but you might take that cool ship someplace else. Might teach you.
Yeah, so that was part of it. So you can do these steam beers. It's going to be a lot of fun playing with that. We did one last week. It was great. Lots of fun.
Did you use Northern Brewer hops?
No, we switched up to Cascade because I think that's more modern.
Another
What is
geek
Northern
product.
Brewer hops?
Gives like a slightly earthy, woody character. It's
Some people even say like parsley to it. There's like
Yeah.
an herbalness almost.
I mean, it's a great hop for a certain style, and we switched it up to use Cascade.
Yeah. Sorry, but anyway, we were saying you might take it somewhere.
Yeah, so the other great thing with this, and something I'm a huge fan of, is using the cool ship to inoculate wild wort with, wort with wild yeast.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll take this, put it in the back of the truck, and put that in the middle of a vineyard or orchard, and use the wild yeast floating in the air to inoculate the wort that will then age in a barrel and allow it to come out. We did it last year with Great Lakes and Indy and Sawdust for Dynamic, another type of brew. But yeah, we'll definitely break this out in the next couple of weeks for sure.
This is, I think we've talked about like lambic, as Canadians
Yeah.
say lambic, as Belgians
Yeah.
would say. That's exactly what Ian's talking about here, is not using yeast that you put in, but rather letting the beer get infected by what's in the air.
Inoculate. In fact,
Inoculate.
people have like this.
I know, they think
Yeah.
like, it has a
It's
cool
got negative
name.
connotations for sure.
Sorry, inoculate. But yeah, that's
we'll
why
be
it's
able to
here.
like recirculate the wort, exposing it into the air, and hopefully the wild yeasts that are in those in the air, and bacteria as well.
What's this called again?
Kuyt.
Kelt.
Kuyt.
So you can come down here to the Amsterdam BrewHouse, 245 Queen Street West, Queens Quay West.
Queens Quay
Queens
West.
Quay. They sound
Quay.
so similar. They
Queens Quay.
sound so similar.
Totally geographically different.
And you can check this out, have this, sit on the patio. Utterly fantastic.